All right, we are live. I'm going to give it a couple minutes. We're not quite 2 o'clock yet. Hopefully, a lot more people will join in the next couple of minutes, but I just wanted to get it going live so I could say hi to everybody. And if you're on here, of course, please feel free to say hi back. And we will get started in just a couple of moments discussing microservices and microservice empire. So, like I said, we'll give that a second. Feel free to say hi as you pop on in here. And I'll be messing around with a few things here while we wait. I can see people are starting to pop in here, so please feel free to say hello, and we'll get started in just a second. It's funny how that works. Up until it literally hit 2 o'clock, nobody showed up in the little things, and as soon as it said 2 o'clock, boom, all the people in here showed up. So say hi, and we'll get started in just one momento. I'm going to set one thing up here as we are waiting for this to get started. And by the way, for those of you that are on here, feel free, like I said, to say hi, but tell me where you're from too. I always like to hear and see where everybody's from. And I'd also like to hear if you've already picked up Microservice Empire, and or if you haven't, and that way we can kind of discuss things in a few different ways here. But love to know those that have and those that have not already jumped on this new program. And let me grab that there. All right. Nobody's saying hi to me this morning. I think there must be a delay because nobody said hi to me yet. All right. Let me pop one thing in here and then we will get started. Do. Alrighty. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting a couple of things ready up here, and then we'll get started. Make sure I've got the right stuff. There's the page I'm looking for. All right. So like I said, we're only going to give this another second or two, and then we're just going to get started because we're not going to wait all day for everybody. If you're not here when we start, too bad. If only that were true, right? All right, give me one more second here. I'll try this instead. And it is now officially 2 minutes past 2. So we're not going to wait any longer for everybody. We're going to get started because those of you who came here on time, we want to make sure that you get the most out of this and that you're not hanging around forever waiting. And all right. And so here we go. And all right. So I see Eddie's here. Eddie, welcome. And David and Jay. So a few of you are starting to pop on in here. Welcome. Glad to have you in here. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Microservice Empire, which is a great new program. Of course, if you don't know who this is by my good friend Gene Kalenda and Dr. Ben Adkins. And if you don't know Dr. Ben, he's been around for a long time. Hey, Julie, good to see you in here. Martin as well. He has been a chiropractor for a long time, and he's also been a marketer for a long time. So he's done not only local marketing, helping businesses, other chiropractors and things like that, but he's been a traditional marketer as well, where he's sold programs such as, I think the first program I ever did with him was back when Facebook ads were a new thing, and he was teaching me some of that. And he had a program out, and boy, I can't even remember the name of that program now, but it was the first time that I learned how to do Facebook advertising. So it was a really nice program that got us going there. And so he's been around a long time and he knows what he's talking about. And the name of this program, Microservice Empire. So he's always been kind of called the king of microservices. And what I mean by that is his MO with all of the things that he does has always been that you provide small services for small fees to lots of people. And there's a really strong philosophy behind that. One, when you're providing these small services, the people are not expecting a lot out of you. They're expecting just that small service, but the result they get out of that is going to be bigger than what they thought. And so the idea is that you're doing X and the results are much bigger than they would have expected. And the price on this is small enough that they're going to keep paying for this forever, because they're always going to want that. They're paying a small amount of money for this and they're getting this out of it. They're never going to drop that. And plus the price being low, they kind of just, I'm never going to cancel that. It's only $100. We'll just keep going. And so there's a good philosophy behind this. You're over delivering on something that really helps, that's easy to do, that gets you a monthly fee, but it's a fee that the business isn't really going to notice or care about and want to cancel at any time. So that's kind of the philosophy behind the whole microservices industry. And Jay says, will you ask Gene for a cold call script and email templates? Yeah, I can certainly do that. I'm not sure if they have that in there. I'm going to pop in and I'll make sure that she knows about that. And I've got a guest live and in person. Wayne is here on set. Hey, Wayne, how's it going? He's here to fix my AC. Poor Wayne has been out here far too many times with that poor AC system up on my roof here. So we as a group will apologize to Wayne for having to come out here again. It's kind of sad, but he enjoys it. I think he likes coming here to visit me. So in any case, the idea behind this is that we're going to be able to provide these services very quickly and easily. But, and Jay, yes, I will ask Gene about that, because I know in the sales and prospecting area, which we'll show in just a second here, it's got a lot of information, but I'll ask her what she uses for that. In fact, you know what? Let me pop up my screen here for a second. We'll have a little bit of fun here. I'm going to pop up my entire screen, which would be which one, if I can figure it out here. My entire screen, this one here. All right. So let's see. Oh, are we going to have trouble again today? We had trouble the other day where we had to restart the whole system in order to get the page to show up. And it looks like it's doing it again. Dag nabbit. All right. Well, I'm not going to restart it this time. We did this last time. I don't know why it would be doing this to us again. Thank you very much, Google. I'm actually using Webinar Jam, and it does it through Google Live. And for some reason, Google Live is not wanting to share my screen. And last time we did this, I had to actually shut down the whole computer. So yeah, it's not going to do it. And that's okay. We'll just discuss things today and we'll go over it as best we can without actually seeing the thing in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a message. I was going to show it live as I sent the message to Jean, but I've actually got her right here on Skype. And so I'm going to type it in there. Hey, Jean. We are live on a webinar about microservices. The folks on the call were curious if you had any email templates. All right. So there, we've officially asked her, and I apologize. You're going to have to stare at my ugly face throughout this because we're not able to get the screen share to go again. I upgraded my computer, my iMac Pro, to the new version of the operating system. And then the first time we did a webinar, which was last week, it wouldn't let me share the screen. We restarted the whole computer and then it worked. And now it's doing the same thing where it won't let me share. So I apologize. You'll have to just stare at me with this and I'll answer the questions as best we can. So with that, obviously, the big thing here is we want a Q&A with you guys so that you can tell us what you have, the questions you have about the product. And then I'll do my best to answer those questions without screen share. And we'll see where we go from there. You guys might want to disappear off of here sooner than later because of that, but we'll certainly find out. So if you have any questions about this, obviously, Jay, great question, and I've asked Jean, and Jean is typing back as we speak. She says, Dr. Ben and I will be writing some, and we're holding a sales Q&A webinar soon. They will receive an invitation inside their membership. All right. So there's your answer, Jay. They actually are going to be putting some up. They're going to be doing a Q&A webinar themselves, and you'll hear about that, and they will be putting some email up there as well. So, but for me, as far as the emails, Jay, honestly, I wouldn't go too crazy about the emails themselves. Just be honest and simple and get them out there, and people will respond. And here's something that I wanted to share because let me give you a little bit of history of my stuff here. For those of you who don't know, I've been doing local marketing for a long time. Obviously, doing a lot of video marketing. We worked with a lot of lawyers, shooting videos and things like that. And I was actually partnered in with another business that was providing a lot of the. They were doing a lot of the sales and things in the background. Well, we kind of things have ended with that. And so now I'm back to where I've got just my clients, which is obviously a lower number than before because they were getting clients. So I'm actually ramping up myself right now and trying to get a bunch of new clients in. And this is one of the ways that I'm doing it. In fact, I just set up, and again, it's a shame you can't see this here, but one thing that I just did, which is something that you guys can all do, and we'll see if it's effective. I know others who have done this and it's been very effective. A good friend of mine does these all the time. In fact, she does these live, not even a webinar, and we may do them live at some point too, but I wanted to get one out quickly, is to do a local webinar teaching something. And back when I lived out west, we used to do these once in a while. We actually used to do it at a trade school. It was a Davis Vocational Technical School where me and one of my partners would actually go out to Davis and we would have a live meeting where business owners would come in and we would teach them about YouTube. We would teach them about Facebook marketing and running ads. And, each time we did one, we talked about a different subject. And we also used to do that for the National Speakers Association, the NSA. Bad name for them now, right? But the National Speakers Association, we used to go and teach about YouTube and other types of marketing there as well. So that those, not the National Speakers Association, sorry. And so we would go out there and we would meet with those guys and we would talk about how to use things like YouTube in order to build their business. And that was a very effective method of getting the message out there. When we did this at Davies, when we did this at the National Speakers Association, people would listen. And what would end up happening is you might have 10 or 15 people there. You teach them about Google My Business, or at the time it was Google Plus Local, because they've changed the Google My Business about 3 or 4 times now. And so we would do these trainings on Google My Business or Google Places or Google Plus My Business, whatever the heck they were called at the time. And what would happen is after the sessions, people would normally, somebody's going to come up to us and say, hey, why don't you do this for us? We want to do this, but we don't have the time. And so that's how we would drum up business. By giving away information, we would get clients back. And this worked with video as well. So if, for instance, I would do the old rank a video onto page 1, contact a business and say, hey, I've got a personal injury lawyer video on page 1. Do you want the calls from it? Yeah, great. And then they would say, hey, by the way, could you make more videos with me in them? Yes, I can. And so the idea here is these smaller things can lead into bigger things. And what I'm doing right now to try and get some of these businesses in to do these microservice things, which is, a nice starting point, because then people will buy bigger things, is I'm actually doing a local marketing webinar. And this webinar is going to be on tricks you can use in Google My Business to get into the 3-pack. And so we're going to have all the local businesses that subscribe to this and register. We're going to show them exactly what they can do in order to improve their Google My Business listing and get it into the 3-pack. But of course, most of them are not going to want to do that. They're not going to understand, the intricacies of it or even where to begin. And so hopefully they will come to us and ask us to do that as well. And so that's how we're going to build that. Now, the microservices thing obviously is another brand new thing in here. So we're going to do a webinar on that as well and see how that works out, how to get your Facebook posts out each day so that you can grow in this. And by the way, if you didn't watch the video with myself and Gene yesterday that's on the bonus page, which is where you registered for this, if you scroll down that page, there's an interview I did with Gene, and she talks about Google as a local search engine and how they're doing a very similar 3-pack type of deal when people search local businesses in Facebook. But the difference is that it is almost exclusively based off of who has a business page that's actually being active. So in other words, John Smith law firm might be number 1 on Google Maps because he's got the best SEO and he's filled out all of his stuff in Google Maps and he's got 822 5-star reviews. On Facebook, he doesn't do much, But this brand new law firm that has no rankings yet, has no business yet, and they're going out there and they're just posting every day, posting every day, posting every day, posting every day. Well, they're going to beat out the big guy on Facebook when people search, because Facebook is looking for Facebook page activity. So it's a nice way to sneak in and get more attention than some of these bigger ones. And that's why this is such an important service, to be able to post every day, because what Facebook considers to be, active posting is either between 3 times a week and every day is what they're looking for. And so if you're not doing 3 times a week or every day, you might get beat out by somebody else. So Kevin says, whose Facebook page does the posts show up on? So all right. So the way it works is like this. You're going to be going in, and let's say your client is, John Smith, personal injury lawyer. You're going to go in and become a manager of John Smith, personal injury lawyer, and you want those posts to be coming out from his page. So in other words, you don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to just post these things out for you with my personal account or one of my pages. No, you want to be posting from their page, because that's what's going to that's where you want the activity to be seen coming from, is their page. That's going to rank them better when people search locally for their type of business. So, and obviously my example is kind of silly. I should probably have used a chiropractor one, since that's what this one is about, is chiropractors. But point being is the same idea fits every kind of business out there. But in this case, the chiropractors is the big one. You want to get out there and you want to post inside you want to manage their chiropractor page and put this stuff out. And if they don't have a page, by the way, that's a great opportunity to charge them a fee to put together a page so that they now have one. So Kevin says that makes sense. Good. I'm glad that makes sense. And again, I apologize for anybody who just jumped in for whatever reason. Once again, last week we had this issue, but we can't get the screen share to pop up. So you have to stare at my face, and I'll answer the questions as best I can, because I didn't want to have to shut down the whole computer again like we did last time, just to get that up there when it's probably not vital. In some cases it probably would be vital, but in this case, probably not vital to have that up there. So in any case, let's go over the actual program, because I want you guys to understand what Dr. Ben and Jean are giving us here. And again, I know you can't see my screen, but I will talk about it here. So the program itself, when you get inside of it, you're going to see the start here, and it's going to give you information about the product itself, about the membership area and who they are and why they're doing this. And you're going to get the opportunity to purchase any upsells that you didn't purchase at the time of sale. And the idea behind that is, obviously, once you get in here, you look at this, you're going to say, okay, we want more, we'll get more. And the upsells, by the way, I know everybody always asks, I always get 100 questions on that. What are the upsells? What are the upsells? What are the upsells? In this case here, I love this because you're getting exactly what they said, which is training and 60 graphics that you can use on Facebook or any social media really, but you can, in here, they teach you how to post it on Facebook. You got 60 graphics that you're going to put out for these chiropractors. So that's going to be, about 2 months worth or more if you stretch it out. If you only do 4 posts a week, 5 posts a week, you can stretch that out a little further. But the great thing about this is, if you set this up the way that they show you, what's going to happen is you're going to have your 60 items, okay? And every day it's going to post one. You set it up to post every single day, and it just keeps posting. At the end of 60 days, it's going to recycle that and start posting again. And the idea here is that, it can get a little repetitive, but only after a couple of months. And so the people seeing it aren't going to be looking at it and going, wait a minute, didn't I see that a month ago? In fact, it'll probably be a good reminder at that point in time. But the point is, you can set that, as I keep saying, set it and forget it. You set that up. It's going to run for 60 days. At the end of 60 days, it's going to start over and do it again. At the end of those 60 days, it's going to do it again. And if you think that is a little too repetitive, well, that's why they have the upsells. The upsells are going to give you, first, they've got animated ones that you can do. And I forget exactly how many are in there, but it's got to be at least double what you have. So now you're talking about 4 months worth of content. And then they've got an upsell with more images and posts. And so now you're going to have, I think at that point, it gets up to like 6 months worth of stuff. So you can post every single day for 6 months, and then it will recycle, but it'll do something every day, every day, every day. And you can have this set up to go forever. And the idea behind this is that you're going to get the client. Okay. You're going to set up that either the 60 days or the 6 months, whatever you purchased, you're going to set that up, and it's just going to run like clockwork, and you never have to even look at it again. Yeah, maybe you want to peek and say, okay, yeah, it posted today every once in a while. But once it's set up, you don't ever have to do anything again. What you're charging them for is to post that stuff every single day. You're not managing it. You're not checking numbers. You're not doing anything like that for them. You're just posting things. And so therefore you can set it on autopilot, and it's just going to go for that period of time. And then it's going to start all over. And you're just going to get paid that small amount of money from that business each and every month. And then you're going to do it again. You're going to do it another business, another business, another business. And hopefully at some point in time, you've got, 10, 20, 30 businesses. Jean mentioned yesterday that her goal is to get 100 businesses by the end of the year. And she said she's actually ahead of schedule. So considering it's just about November, so we got, November and December, I'm guessing she probably has over 80 by now then. So 80 people paying her $100 a month every single month for something that she sets up and then never touches again. That's a pretty darn good goal to have. If you reach 100, that's $10,000 a month that you're going to get from people, from these businesses, when you're not even having to actively work on these things. And, I would imagine that each and every one of us would be excited to get an extra $10,000 for something that we don't have to even look at ever again or touch. And it just keeps coming in. So it's a very exciting way to do things. And it's very similar, as I mentioned to Gene, it's very similar to the YouTube advertising stuff that I was doing, or that I am doing, because we go into there, we set up a very basic YouTube ads campaign, and it just runs. Now, I do go in and peek at it every once in a while, make sure it's performing, make sure it's still going, make sure the credit card hasn't run out, things like that. But it just runs, and they pay a small fee to keep that going, and the phone keeps ringing for them. And as long as the phone's ringing and the price isn't too high, they're going to keep doing that forever, and I don't have to really touch anything. I spend a couple of minutes per month on each one just looking at it, so it's not overwhelming. But, for those of you that are looking for that kind of a thing, that's exactly what you want to do, is you want to provide these little microservices. So, all right, and everybody's kind of quiet now, so if you've got any questions about this, please pop them in there, because, like I said, without being able to see the screen, you have to stare at me the whole time, so you might as well make the most of it and pop in a few questions about this. But while we're waiting for any of those questions, I'm going to go through the actual platform a little bit more. And so what we've got here is, you got the start, like we said, and then you've got an entire section on scheduling and automating your posts. Okay. And this is where it gets really fun. Now, I will talk about a couple of things, and I mentioned this in my review. So the first thing they talk about is a post planner. Now, post planner is a software that schedules out all of your stuff, and it will recycle it at the end. So that's what you're going to use to set it all up and just let it keep rolling. And as I mentioned in my video, you could use something like Hootsuite to do this, but Hootsuite's going to be a little bit more work. And Hootsuite's still going to cost you some money too. So for me, I'd say go with the Post Planner. It's not very expensive, especially if you get a couple of clients. It's not expensive at all. And it's going to allow you to post all of that stuff out and recycle it at the end and just let it run forever. It can run for the next 100 years and you wouldn't have to really touch it. And that's what's great about that. Let's see. Kevin says, is the software to automate the posting included? No, it's not included, because you can use any that you already have. They don't have a software in there to do that. They share what they use. And what they use is that Post Planner. So you can go in and you can learn about that. But as I said, if you've already got Hootsuite, you could set it up there as well. You might have to do a little bit more work to, because I'm not sure if Hootsuite will recycle the information. And so I know you have to go in and do a little bit more work. Post Planner is going to make it a lot easier. And I think the Post Planner one that they use, I think it's like either $19 or $20 something a month. So if you think about it, if you're paying $20 some a month and you've got one client paying you $100 a month, you more than pay for it. So it's not a big expense at all. But that's going to take care of all of that for you. So it's completely automated. What microservices are you running with YouTube? So the microservice I'm running with YouTube is, it kind of fits in with these microservices. It's running YouTube ads, but it's a very basic form of YouTube ads. So what I mean by that is, we go in, we get the one video that they're doing. So if they've got one video in there that they want to run as their YouTube ad, and we can throw in more. It doesn't really hurt anything to throw in more, but we usually grab a video. We set up a very basic campaign to try and get people making phone calls to the business. And so that campaign just runs locally. So we take a local video and we run it. So if we're in, I'm here in Snellville, Georgia. So if I wanted to run an ad for a plumber in Snellville, what I would do is I would take their video and I would target only the Snellville area or maybe a little bit bigger, and then run ads to that area. So, and because it's, anybody can have a plumbing problem, we're not running it to just a certain type of video. We're running it to, anything. So if they're watching cat videos, we want them to see it. If they're watching monster truck videos, we want them to see it. If they're watching recaps of a baseball game of the World Series or whatever, we want it to run there. We want it to run no matter what they're watching. So we target wide in that area. And once we set that up, I don't barely have to even look at it. It's just going to run. So it's in the same vein. It's a little less micro and a little more work, but it's a very similar type of thing, in that we don't have to spend a lot of time each month doing it. I could take on a lot of clients because once it runs, it just runs. And with this, once it runs, it just runs. You take 2 hours to set up the chiropractor, Facebook stuff, and it's just going to go forever. So then you can work on the next one. So it's very easy as far as that goes. So that's Post Planner is going to help you to do that. The next thing I talk about is uploading your images to Amazon. We love Amazon. Amazon is a great tool for hosting things. However, I will say check out Wasabi, Wasabi. Now, the reason I say that is because Wasabi technically is Amazon S3. So what it is Wasabi, and this is partially a guess. Back a long, long time ago when S3 was getting started, they sold pieces of S3 to businesses to get the seed money to get it going. And so a lot of those companies have access to Amazon S3 at ridiculously low prices. And so they turn around and they sell things. I'm assuming that's what Wasabi has because they host their stuff on S3. They mask it with Wasabi, but it's a lot less expensive. Now, that being said, when we're talking about 60 images being stored on Amazon S3, you're probably not going to, you might even get S3 for free. They've got a level where they don't charge you until you start to use a certain amount of bandwidth. And with 60 images, you may not even reach that bandwidth, so it might be free. But if you're doing other things in there, you're storing a lot of stuff, you're delivering a lot of stuff, switching to Wasabi can save you a lot of money with that. For instance, in my case, I've got all of my instant spokesperson videos on Wasabi. So I've got 300 of those things on there, and there are people downloading them every day. So there's just gigabytes and gigabytes of downloads going on all the time. On Amazon, that would cost me $500, $1,000, $1,500 in a month. On Wasabi, it cost me $5. In fact, I got charged last night was my billing. I got the email last night, it was $5. So if you're going to do a lot with S3, you may want to look at Wasabi. If you're just doing this and this is your first time in S3, it's probably fine. You're probably not going to be charged anything. And if you are, very little. So that's a great way to do that. Jay, how long should the last post be on Facebook before you reach out? How long should the last post on Facebook be? I'm not sure what you mean there, Jay. With the way this is set up, you want to set it up where it posts a new one every single day. So just that 24 hours. So maybe every day at 11 o'clock, a new one comes out like clockwork. Boom, 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 boom. And so, for the rest of your life, it's going to keep going. And at the end of the time that you have. So if you got 60 days worth of content, on day 61, it's going to start with one of the ones it already did. And it's just going to keep going. I don't know if that answers the question or not. If you want to rephrase that, if I missed that, let me know. And I will try to fix that for you and answer that better. All right. So that's Amazon S3. That's where you're going to store it. It's just a place to have the graphics where it can actually be pulled from. And that's what you want there. The next thing is the spreadsheet for the text blurbs. So this is where, inside the product, you're not going to get just images. You're not posting just images. You're posting images and a post. So it's literally got the graphic and then it's got the text underneath it. So in here, they're going to show you how to set it up so that these posts work with the images to make sure that you put out the image and the post at the same time. And so that's what that teaches there, is how to set that up. The next thing they talk about, which is actually really cool, and I was excited to watch this particular video. And the reason for that is because I would have done this inside of Photoshop and it would have taken, 50 times longer. And that's adding a watermark to each one of the graphics. So typically I would have, had I not watched that video, I would have taken all the graphics, opened them up in Photoshop, and one by one put a watermark on each one, put a logo on each one. And then when I had a new client, I would do it again, et cetera, et cetera. But they use a program, and let me see if I can remember the name of the program they use. It's like watermark.ws or something like that. In any case, they've got it in there, and of course I can't. I'm trying to see if I can. Yeah, it's watermark.ws. Now maybe I shouldn't be giving that away. Leave that in there, but it's just a website that allows you to bring in all of your graphics and watermark it. So that was a great bit of information for me. I had no idea, but you can batch documents, images, animated GIFs, videos. All of those things can be watermarked from watermark.ws. I knew nothing about it. Great little service. You literally bring in all of your images. You choose you upload your watermark, and boom, you tell it where you want it on them, and it's just gonna go through and do it all for you. And it took just a few moments, and it was hands off. You just you brought them in, you chose, and you let it go, and it was done. So very, very easy to use that. So that's one thing that I learned out of this that was very, very helpful. Watermark.ws. I don't know what .ws is, where that's out of, what country that is, but very useful tool. All right, and then the next part is then they teach you how to use the Post Planner. So at the beginning, they told you about Post Planner, how to set it up and all that. Now they're going to show you how to use that with the stuff as you bring it in there. So once you've uploaded your stuff, you watermarked it, now they're going to show you how to actually use Post Planner to get your content out there. And that is exactly what it is. You understand what that is, and that's where you're going to recycle it and all of that kind of stuff. So, and then the last part is they've got the sales and prospecting area. This is where it was mentioned earlier, they've got the snail mail marketing. So they're going to teach you how to reach out to the businesses through traditional mail, and then how to find the perfect client. And that's where you're going to really, that's where you're going to find who is the perfect client. Obviously, anybody who's not doing a lot with Facebook. Now, when Jean explained that yesterday in the video that we had, what she talked about was she likes to look for businesses that already have a Facebook page, but they're really not posting much on it. Maybe every once in a while they're posting something. So she doesn't necessarily want to find the ones who don't have a Facebook page at all, because typically they don't understand the value. If you find one that has a Facebook page, has posted a few things, but it's been a couple of weeks, that's kind of the ideal person. They know enough that they have to have it. They know enough that they need to post, but maybe they don't quite know how to do that on a consistent basis. And that's your ideal client right there. And so that's what they're going to talk about, is how to find that ideal client for this particular type of service. Jay, I was asking, how long should the business last post on their page be before you reach out? Oh, okay. Gotcha. So according to Jean, when I was talking to her, what she said was she likes to see that maybe they've, it's been a week or two that they haven't posted. I kind of joked and said, they haven't posted since New Year's 2 years ago. And her response to that was that might be, they might not be ideal. That might be somebody you'd want to try, but probably not ideal because they don't see the value enough to keep up with it. But if it's been a week or two, then that's probably somebody that could really, it understands that they need to do it, but just isn't getting the job done. And so that's the ones that she said she really likes to look for. So that is the inside of the microservice empire. Start throwing those questions up there, guys. Jay's taking up all the question space. I need to hear from everybody else. Kevin, Julie, Martin, Eddie, whoever else is on here. I can see there's a lot more than have talked to me. So if you're on here and you're thinking about this, be sure to let me know any questions that you have, because I know it can be a bit confusing. And again, I apologize. You've had to stare at me with put some gel in my hair this morning because I had to shoot a video, and boy, my hair's like plastered down here. Do you have any more info on setting up your YouTube service? I do, Jay. We did a webinar on that, and I will have to get it out to you. If you want to reach out to me afterwards, I'll try to find the link to that, and I'll give it to you. But we did a webinar all about that and showing exactly what we're doing to set that up. It's actually not very difficult, which is the great thing about it. But yeah, just reach out to me afterwards. Grab me on Facebook, send me a message, and I'll try to get it over to you. Since I only see the word Jay, I'm not sure exactly who I'm talking to. So otherwise, I'd reach out to you. But yeah, if you just want to send me a message, I will. I'll try to get that for you. Julie says, doing a good job without screen share. What is your video like as a bonus? Is it in US voice? They are US voice for the two bonus videos that I did. They are US voice. So unfortunately, if you're UK, now I don't know. I've never been to the UK, and I've never asked this before, but what would be interesting, and this goes for Australia and Ireland and South Africa and New Zealand as well. In the US, we love British voices for some reason. There's like this authority to it. So when we get voiceovers and it's a British voiceover artist, that's actually kind of a good thing. I always wonder if, in some of these other countries, do they go, oh, it's an American voice. That's exotic. We need to use it. But I don't think that would be the case. I think that especially in the UK, they probably look at us as like these mumble mouths with the way that we talk. So my guess is it's not seen as exotic and fun. It's probably seen as, oh, those Americans, they don't know how to talk. But yeah, those particular ones are not UK voiced. I have threatened to do UK voice a number of times. My problem with that is I've got so many of these videos that it would cost me literally, $40,000 probably to redo them all in British voices, and I have no idea if they would sell or not. So it's a tough thing to get an expense on. So she says I'm right about my characteristic of American speaking. So can you use the prospect's Facebook page, Facebook message to get in touch with them? Yes, absolutely. And have them get a message notification, even if you're not a friend. Yeah, there's a good side and a bad side to that, Greg. I would definitely want to do that, and I've done that in the past, reaching out that way. The good thing is that because most of them, it's going to be a business page, so it's not going to go into that "you're not a friend" hidden message thing, because you're messaging the business. If you know somebody, if you're in, let's say, a group of local businesses, and you know that John Smith is a plumber or a chiropractor, if you message him personally, that might get thrown into that message request thing, and he may or may not see that. But if you message the page itself, it should get through to them if they're actively looking at it. And that can be an issue with local businesses too, is they set these things up. Oh, hey, we got to set up Facebook Messenger. And then they never respond or see the messages. So, it's a bit of a give and take. I would definitely try it. It's something that I've used in the past. In fact, a good friend of mine, Kenny Cannon, who does a lot of sales, he ran into an issue with all the people that he was working with, is that they hated doing cold calls. And of course, cold calling is probably still the best method to get new clients. Sorry, guys, it is. But a lot of people don't like to do that. So he was teaching Facebook Messenger is the next best thing to do that. So yeah, it can be an effective way to get out to people, is to use that Facebook Messenger. Off subject, what audio software can I use to make my earbud mic sound louder and clearer when doing a Jing screencast? Jay, unfortunately, I think the answer is this: don't use the earbud. And the reason I say that is because I've tried doing it with earbuds too, just to see, and it doesn't work. It sounds like you're on a phone. You can get a microphone for very inexpensively. In fact, we sell microphones that will do the job for you without having to spend, they're $20, like at $19.99, something like that. If you go to pocketvideopro.com/LV1, in fact, I'll message that in case anyone wants to look at it. http://www.pocketvideopro.com/LV1. That will actually get you a nice lapel microphone. In fact, it's the one that I use. I've got it sitting over here. I used it to make 4 videos already today. That one, it's a very nice clear lapel microphone. It'll plug into a camera, but it'll also plug into your smartphone. So you don't need to have a video camera. You can just plug it right into your smartphone and record that way, and you're going to get a great sound with it. It's what I use all the time for my videos. So highly recommend that. The good news is, if you don't want me to make a commission, right now I don't think the commission thing works on it. So if you buy it, you don't even have to pay me anything from it. So something I'm working on. It seems that when we make sales now on that, they moved companies. I don't get my commission off it anymore, so I got to figure out why. Gregory, when using Facebook Messenger to get in touch with prospects, do you have to set up a special page to send it from, so you don't use your personal Facebook page? That's up to you. I would, if you want to do it from your page, I think you can. I would just do it personally. Just reach out to them and just say, hey, I'm John Smith. I'm a business owner with this, and we've got something that can help you do this. I don't see a problem with that. I believe, I'm pretty sure a page can message another page, but I'm not even positive. I don't think I've ever tried it. but I think you can do that. I know you can view other pages and like other pages as your page, so I assume you can send messages too, but I've never really tried it that way. But yeah, I would do either one. I don't think there's any real advantage between one and the other. Maybe on a professional side, doing it from a page would be more professional, but I don't see much of a difference with that. I don't think. More importantly would just be to get out there and do it. So, all right, next question. Anybody get those questions out there? And by the way, for all of you, I got to use my handy dandy little tool here. For those of you who have not purchased this yet, let me publish this out there. Boom, there you go. You should be seeing the Start a Microservice Now, Microservice Empire button. Get it now. You should be able to see that in front of you there. And if you cannot, let me get the direct link and I'll put it in here too, because I know a lot of you will be asking for that in a second anyway, if I can find it. Copy that link. We'll paste that in there in case anybody wants that. And by the way, I didn't mention it right now. The front end of that, I believe, is only $27. And what's great about that is you get one client. That one client triples what you spent in the first month. So you get a $100 client. The first time they pay $100, you've already tripled what you spent on getting and learning all this and getting the graphics. So you really, you can't go wrong on this one, I don't think. But what should be an off-the-top cold call script to the Kairos for this microservice? I think the biggest thing that you can do is you want to mention that people are searching for chiropractic businesses on Facebook. Okay. And Facebook is, when people search, Facebook is showing the business pages that post the most stuff, the ones that are the most active. And so you need to be posting 3 to 7 times a week, even say 4 to 7 times a week. And that's what you're going to provide for them, automated, so they don't ever have to worry about it. They're going to get content out that's going to get the attention of people. It's going to get the attention of Facebook, and it's going to help them to show up on the top when people search for that particular business. So that's the type of things that I would hit. But it's such a small thing. It shouldn't be, you don't have to go too crazy with it. I don't think. I think it's just a matter of connecting with people. You may even want to go to a chiropractor, go get your back popped and, spend a little dollars with them and talk them into it there. That's where a lot of people get these businesses. In fact, this is one thing that I would recommend is, if you can get in with a chiropractor, like I said, go in and get your back fixed. Spend the $50 to $80 or whatever to get your back fixed. You'll feel better. And at the same time, you can talk to them about this stuff. And the great thing is, once you get one on board, all you have to do is say to them, hey, do you know of any other chiropractors that you could hook me up with that would want this same type of service, so that they show up in their area? Chances are they're going to know the chiropractors in the, 3 towns away, 1 state away, 2 hours away, that kind of a thing. And they'll set you up with that. I just did that with the dentist that I've been working with for the last 2 or 3 months. He now has 4 practices, and we do all 4 of his practices, which is fantastic. He just bought the last practice a couple of weeks ago, and we already have done the YouTube channel and all that stuff for that 4th one. And now what I've gone and done is, this was before this came out. It was last week. I went to him and I said, hey, I've got another service that I want to, show you, that's going to, in this case, it was going to produce videos. It's if you're not familiar with Rep Videos, that's a David Sprague product. That's one of the things that we put out as Rep Videos. And so I told him about Rep Videos, and I said, what I want to do is I want to produce a video for you with this, and it's going to use one of your 5-star reviews and everything. And, I'm just going to do it for you now. I said, but in return, if you wouldn't mind sharing with me 5 dental friends of yours that might need a similar service. And so that's what he's done. So I'm putting together one of the Rep Videos for him right now. Like literally today, I'm putting it together, and he's getting me 5 of his friends, as he put it, who hopefully are not in the same area, who might need my service. And that way we can connect with them and hopefully get new businesses that way. So be sure, always, always, always try to get the referrals. It's very, very important, and it's not hard to do. And if they like you, they're going to do it. So let me grab it. Whew, there we go. Now I can speak again. There's a marketer who offers his special bonus is that he transfers the pictures into PowerPoint, so it would be possible to make changes, etc. Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised, Martin. The images, which again, I can't show you on here. What you'd be doing there is I don't know if he went and took them and put them into PowerPoint templates or if he just shows you, but you could bring these into PowerPoint, and the one you bring in has an image in it and it has a blue background with some text on it. You could put a blue box over that text and just write in new text. And, you could do that with Photoshop. You could do that with PowerPoint. So you could do that. It doesn't come as a template in the actual version. Microservice Empire doesn't provide it as a template where you can make the changes, but you could certainly bring it into Photoshop and just block out the current text and put in your text. That wouldn't be that hard to do. In fact, you could probably get these 60 of them. You could probably go to Fiverr and get somebody for very, very cheap to go through each one and do it. You'd have to write it up in German or whatever language anybody else happens to speak. You'd have to write out all 60 of them so that they have that ready, but you could do that inexpensively. Maybe not the funnest thing to do, but you could certainly get that done and change that into different language. And that would make life a lot easier. So that's a good bonus. I like that bonus. Barry, what exactly is the video you just referred to in your bonuses? Okay, so, and Barry, if you bought on day 1, the bonuses were put in last night for day 2. So you should get an email that says your bonuses have been updated, or, this package has been updated. What I did was I've got some chiropractor instant spokesperson videos that I put in there so that people buying it get that now. So if you already bought, you get access to that as well. And if you buy new, it'll already be in there. But if you either look in your email for a message from either me or SendOwl that will say that the bonuses have been updated, or if you just go back, open that bonus page again, they should be in there. And let me not say the bonus page, because the bonus page is my page you're thinking of. If you go into the page where you download your bonuses, so if you go back into Warrior Plus and hit affiliate bonuses or whatever that button says, you click on that and it brings it back up. It should have those in there now. So there's 2 extra videos. If you don't, just reach out to me and I'll get them to you. Not a big deal at all. But those videos, the great thing about that is you could use those with YouTube ads. You could sell them to them. You can, whatever you need to do with them for those businesses. So somebody buys that marketing service, you could modify those videos and throw that in there. Now you got 62 days worth of content. Nothing wrong with posting some videos in there as well. And of course you can put them on YouTube and do whatever you want with those. So, and the upgrade, by the way, for those of you who haven't gotten it, the upgrade is to get animated versions of these types of posts. So instead of just a still image that you're posting an actual animation, and each one of those gets a little more attention. And the great thing about that is, like Gene said yesterday, is instead of charging that $100, tack in an extra $50 a month to have the animations in there as well as the still stuff, and then just mix it up. And so you can make a little bit more money with that. I was going to ask you, Ray, could we position rep videos to be a microservice at $97 per client instead of the recommended $197 to $397? You could, if you've got rep videos, you could charge whatever you want for that. I mean, that's the beauty of that. And rep videos would fit into the microservices thing because you can set up a whole bunch of those. It's a little more work. It's not as simple. You got to go in and, set each one of them up and whatnot, but it's the same type of thing. I love the rep video stuff. You go in there, you set up those videos. My dental client, he's got the 4 locations. Every single one of them has over 200 5-star reviews. Every single one of those 4. 200, actually, no, let me change that. 3 of them have over 200 5-star reviews. One of them's a newer one. That one has like 40 or something like that. But one of them has like 350 5-star reviews. Another one has 300. Another one has like 250. And then the final one has like 40 or something like that. But think about that. You post a video a week, you're posting stuff for years for these guys. So rep videos is another one that works with that. And of course, you would want to charge more for the rep videos because there's going to be at least seemingly more value in that type of work than a simple post, because they're getting a full video. It's going on to YouTube. It's going on to Facebook. It's going on to this, going on to that. So that can make a big difference. So yeah, I would put that into the microservices category with a little bit more work, but you can also charge a lot more for it. So love that. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, we do have a Rep Videos webinar that we're doing on the 30th. So the night before Halloween. In fact, let me grab that for you guys if I can find it here quickly, because this will be one that you definitely want to attend. It's going to be me and David, and we're going to be talking all about Rep Videos and how they work and how you can use them. And so let me pull up John's message here so I can get the good old John. There we go. Make sure I get the right link here. So if you guys want to join for that, we put it together specifically for the people that just bought TubeLawyer, but I'm inviting everybody that we know on our lists and everything to join that, because that's going to be a good one. So that's the link to that webinar there. So if you click on that and register on the 30th, we're going to give you the whole rundown on Rep Videos and how you can build an entire business out of it. And believe me, people do. Because I don't know about you guys, if you don't know what Rep Videos is, you've probably seen these, especially if you work with businesses around the country and you've done, let's say you're working with dentists, and you go to Hoboken, New Jersey dentist, and you look it up. You've probably, while doing some of the searches around to see what's going on, you've probably run into these. These are those videos where there's a spokesperson who stands up and says, hey, we love our customers and we've got a lot of 5-star reviews. Here's one of them. And then it shows an iPad and a guy holding an iPad, and it reads off, we went to John Smith dentist and he fixed all our teeth. So if you've seen those videos, that's Rep Videos. Very easy to build those. They're automatically built. So in that regard, it is very much a microservice, because you can set it and forget it. It's easy to put together, and you can charge a nice monthly fee, to get it done. So it fits right into that category. So be sure to check that out and join us on the 30th, where you can learn a lot more about those. But I'll be doing Rep Videos later today to get some of those ready. At least I think so anyway. We'll see how the day goes. It's already almost 3 o'clock, so who knows what'll happen. All right. Any last questions about microservices, about the product itself, Microservice Empire, about Rep Videos, about anything else, microphones, you name it? Feel free to ask me. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. So throw those out there now. And if we don't get any more questions, we'll let you guys out of here, because it is almost an hour, and probably more than I thought we would talk about this. So that's good. And by the way, I do want to ask you guys, what do you think of this? Back a while ago, I started doing this a little bit with these products, doing these Q&A sessions. What do you think of them? Do you like these? They're not super heavily attended, but they do get a lot of views afterwards. But people do come in here, you ask questions, you get questions answered, and it's not always questions about the products, which is what I love. This is your time to ask anything you want, really. Just the product is the excuse to get on, but you guys can ask anything you want. In fact, by the way, right now, ask anything you want, and I'll be glad to answer it. But let me know if you like this. Does this formula work for you? Do you enjoy being able to do these Q&As? What can we do to improve them aside from getting the screen share to work? What other things could we add to this? I'd love to get some of the actual vendors on here sometime. That would be a wonderful thing. If we could have had Jean on here, I was going to ask her, but I knew she was doing something today. Otherwise, I probably would have tried to get her on here with me, and that could make it even more fun. So Barry says, yes, he likes them, and they're helpful. Jay says he loves them. They add clarity. Good. No, I'm glad, because, the big thing here is this online world. You and I don't get to communicate much. You read my email or you see a video, but we don't interact. We don't connect. And I think that doing these and getting people in where we can talk is definitely a big way to give back, to connect, and to make sure that everybody's getting questions that they want answered. And Julie says she likes it. Martin says they're always good. Okay, that's great. I'm glad you guys like them, because I'm going to try and do them a lot more, especially now with some of the changes that I've made into my business to kind of open it up a little bit more for this kind of thing. I think that's going to be a wonderful addition. So hopefully next time you won't have to stare at my face the whole time. We'll have the screen share working again, and we can actually show the products. But I do appreciate you taking time out of your day to join me, to ask questions, to answer questions. And if you have any questions after this, of course, please feel free to reach out. I don't know if you've noticed yet, on my emails, most of them, as long as I copy the right one when I make my new emails, they've got my phone number on them. So if you ever need to text or call me, it's there. I know that sounds crazy, because who wants 500 people calling them? But, I don't mind. And I know I'm not going to get 500 people calling me, but feel free to call that number or to text me and ask me questions there too. Facebook Messenger, of course, and any other way that you want to reach out. Just need direction on to earn a consistent extra 500 to 1,000 a month. Jay, you know what? The great thing about that is, with something like this, you could do that. You just need to get a handful of clients. And you imagine you get 5 or 6 of these clients, 10 of these clients, it's just going to run itself. You don't even have, excuse me, you don't even have to worry about it. And as Jean mentioned, she's pushing towards 100 of these clients, 100 people paying her $100 to $150 a month. So that's over 10, it's 10,000 or more every single month. And by the way, when she reaches 100, do you think she's going to stop? No. So she's going to push towards 200 next. So imagine having 100 clients paying you $100 a month to do nothing. You do 2 hours of work at the beginning, you set it, you forget it. I mean, it sounds almost too good to be true, but the reality is, you're going to have to deal with these clients. So there's a little more than set it and forget it. But for the most part, as long as everything's running, you don't have to deal with any of that. It's just going to go. There's no major expectations. So they're not going to be on the phone with you going, you promised me 20 phone calls and you didn't get me 20. There's none of that with this. It's just you're providing content. They're seeing the content. They're ranking better when people search on Facebook. People on Facebook are seeing their content and commenting on it. And you look like the hero, and the price is so low that they never want to quit. So it's a very good way to do that. So Jay, I would highly recommend you look very closely into this. Especially because, like I said, one client more than pays for this the first month. How can you beat that? There's not a lot of things that can say that. So I would definitely recommend that. And join us for the rep videos one, because the rep videos, same type of thing. It's a little more expensive, but you can charge more, you can do more. And I mean, videos, if you're making customized videos for people all the time, their minds are blown by that. So definitely check that out. All right. With that, I'm not seeing any new questions there. So again, feel free to reach out in any way that you want to ask any further questions. And I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. I don't know what the next one will be yet. I may do one. I don't want to do one too quickly, but I'm actually helping somebody to put out a green screen product that actually came out today. So if you like green screen, that's one you may want to look for. There's a lot of affiliates that are probably promoting that today. But if you like video and you like green screen, this is a product for you, because it's a whole bunch of green screen studio backgrounds of businesses and studios and churches and stores and, bars and bakeries and everything else in between. And so you can really do some cool videos with it. So check that out if you see that out there. In fact, I'm going to give you the old naked link for that, as they say, which is unaffiliated. So if you've clicked on it with anybody else, or if you plan to, you won't have a cookie in place. If I can remember the website of the actual sales page, it is Studios. Oh, come on, YouTube. You're not going to do that to me, are you? Let's see. Studio Ags. Make sure I get to the right one here. Oh, that's not the one. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, I apologize, especially since you have to stare at me while I do it. Bundle. Is that the right one? No, that's not it. Dag nabbit. Hold on. I think it's just Studio. Sorry, the actual page for this is a long one, so I try to remember what it is, but I think it's this bundle. And if I don't, I'm going to go look it up. Oh, come on, man. Give me 1 second, guys. I apologize once again. I'm going to have to go look it up. Thought I could remember it. It's like studioaccess.greenscreenacademy.com/bundle. And I always forget exactly what it is because it's too long for me to remember. So let me actually grab this here. All right. Let me go here. It's always fun when we have to watch me do all this stuff, isn't it? La, 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 la. All right. All right. So it's studios.greenscreen.academy/bundle. That's what it is. So I'm going to paste that in there. So if you like green screen and you want to learn more about it and you want some great backgrounds, there you go. I'm just helping out with that one. It's some friends of mine that put that one out. So let's see. Jay says, how would you prospect companies who have yellow page videos being made? Oh, Jay, let me tell you, this may be a longer webinar now. You have just opened Pandora's box, my friend. Believe it or not, years ago when that program first started, guess who used to travel around the country shooting yellow page videos? That's right. It was me. I was the guy. I actually traveled around When I lived in Connecticut, I traveled all around Connecticut doing those videos for them. And then I started doing them all across the country. So I did them out west, I did them down south, and they would literally fly me across the country shooting those stupid videos. And the company that I actually worked for was a contractor with Yellow Pages. So I worked directly with Yellow Pages, but it was through a company called Smart Shoot. That's what they're called now. They used to be called Turn Here. They're called Smart Shoot. They actually backed out of the Yellow Page contract a couple years in because they didn't like what Yellow Page was doing. But I would deal directly with Yellow Pages more than the Smart Shoot people. But I would travel around shooting these things, and what I discovered was all I would run into was people that hated the Yellow Pages that were doing these videos. They hated them, hated them, hated them. And so what I started doing, Jay, is I actually went out and looked in my area. Let's see who's done Yellow Page videos. Okay. So I would go to the Yellow Pages YouTube channel, and I'd put in my town. And I did this recently again, but I think I did it on a webinar recently. I actually did the same thing on a webinar. I would go in and I would search, Ogden, Utah, which is where I was kind of living at one point. That was the big city near where I lived for a little while. And in the Yellow Page YouTube channel, all those videos would pop up of all those businesses, and everybody that I called was mad as heck at Yellow Pages, hated them, was so angry about those videos. And so what I did was I was like, well, you know what? I can fix that for you, because I can make you a similar video and I can make sure that people actually see it. And I would actually make videos showing the businesses why the Yellow Pages was such a disaster. I would show them, hey, you had this video shot 8 months ago. It's got 5 views. And look at this. The only link in here is to Yellow Pages, not to you. There's nothing about your business in this at all. And then I would show, what I would do is I would actually download that video and I would put it back up on YouTube on a business page. So I made a local business YouTube channel for just the local area where it had lots of businesses. And I would put their video in there, and I would set it out and I'd run some ads and things, just a couple of dollars of ads. And I'd be like, look what we did. They've had it up there for 8 months and they didn't even have a link back to your website or anything. We've had it up there for 24 hours and we've got 200 views, all local. So that's what I would do. And I actually got some big contracts out of doing that. There was now I can't remember the name of it. It's a property management company. They're a nationwide property management company. They're franchised. And of course I can't think of the Real Property Management. I think it's called Real Property Management or Real Property something or other. And there was a guy who owned a couple of franchises in the area. He owned one in Nevada, I think, and one in Idaho, and then one in Utah. And so we went and did all of his videos. We shot all these videos and we made thousands off of that, just by pointing out, hey, what did you think of your Yellow Pages video, and them complaining about it. And we got a lot of people that did that, a lot of small businesses that we redid videos for. We got a couple of our lawyer clients through that as well. So it can be very, very effective if you go out there and you look up what businesses are using this, see the bad with it. Cause you look these guys up and they've gotten 20 views in a year, 4 views in a year, 10 videos in 3 months, that kind of a thing. So they're not happy. They're paying a lot of money for those bad videos because they're not very good videos. They used to be a lot better. They don't do the types of videos they used to do. Nowadays, they're mostly these crappy little slideshows. We actually used to go out and shoot videos. I'd spend a couple of hours at a location shooting videos. So they're not happy. They've spent a lot of money. They're not getting any results. They know that it's not working properly. Yellow Pages doesn't know what the heck they're doing with the YouTube videos. Half the time, the link that's in there, which goes to Yellow Pages, isn't even a live link. It's below the fold. They're not doing anything with it. So you can go out there and you can find somebody who understands the power of video, is pissed off at the Yellow Pages, and ready to pay to get something out of what they already paid. They've invested thousands probably at this point in the Yellow Pages for these videos that aren't doing anything. If you can go in there and you can do something for them for a couple of $100s, they're probably going to take you up on it. So yeah, look up those Yellow Page guys. It is a breeding ground for angry people that understand video should be good for them. So there you go. That's all I got to say about that. All right. With that, it's been over an hour, so I'm going to let you guys out of here. Jay, I appreciate that question and getting me off on a tangent because it's something that is very usable. So I appreciate you doing that. And again, if anyone has any questions about anything we talked about today, reach out, let me know. I'll be glad to answer them for you. And keep your eyes peeled for the next one, which we'll probably do I don't know. Well, probably next week, but I was even thinking one later in this week, and I know that's kind of a lot, but with the green screen stuff going on, we may want to do one on Friday or something, but we'll see. Just keep your eyes peeled, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great week, everybody.